Welcome back, episode 2. It's pretty cool because did 1, now I'm at 2. I tried coming up with a few excuses not to do this today, but I'm here. Like I said, it's a weekly accountability thing for me more than anything, so I'm going to show up every single week. Few things got on the list to talk about today. I did a VO2 max test for the first time yesterday, which is pretty cool. Shit week of running last week, not so cool. Some mindset stuff, because last week was a bit of a crappy week for me. Had a good think about some mindset stuff. Also tried we got some samples of a new pre-workout flavour last week. Tried that. I'll do a little review on that and next steps of that. Crazy. 2026 planning has already started, which does seem stupid, but when you want to do hectic stuff, it takes quite a bit of planning. So starting to scope out a few things for 2026 already. Everest season, not going to talk too much about that, but I'm just getting pumped up because everyone's on Everest at the moment. I've got numerous friends over there and they just love having a really good time, and I'm missing out, but that's alright. And the athletes at the moment coming in for the sponsorship deal is crazy. That gets me pumped because we've had over 250 applications now, and some of them are unreal. So I'm pretty excited to work through the finalists today. I was planning on doing it late last week, however things happened, and with all the applications still rolling in, so I thought it'd be wise to wait a couple extra days. So that's my main priority today, is to work through the athletes and finalise 2 by the end of today, so later on this week we can announce them on socials. Let's start with the VO2 max tests. First one I've ever done. It was a different experience. Definitely not pleasant wearing a mask and trying to run on a treadmill. Running on a treadmill is not pleasant at the best of times for me, so running on a treadmill is horrid, wearing the mask was horrid. However, haven't got the results yet. We'll get them in the next hour or so, I'd say. Was a good test, so, and I think I've done pretty well, so pretty happy about that. Something worth doing even if you're not doing anything too serious. I think they're quite easy to go and do these days, so definitely something to go do. See how you can improve and all that sort of stuff. It's always good to know some numbers. That's probably for me, knowing the number at the moment and then working on it over the next sort of 6 months as we get towards the Great World Race. Having a super crazy VO2 max by November is the plan. Last week's running, had a small niggle in my hamstring, so I didn't do any of the speed workouts. Also was about 15 kilometres short on the weekly total that I was aiming for, which was a bit devastating. However, towards the back end of the week, when the long runs come in, did a 40k long run, felt really good on it. So I think I did maybe 1,500 metres of elevation in that one. It was about a 4:15 time, which is pretty decent for that amount of elevation in my eyes anyway. But yeah, not such a good week on running, and gym was even worse. I had probably 3 gym sessions last week, so training last week, not good, but here we are, new week. Crushed a fast finish run yesterday, so stoked about that. Crushed the gym yesterday, crushed the gym today, do a nice easy run today as well, and yeah, keen to redeem myself this week. In regards to that mindset and when things aren't going your way, it's just life. Things, no matter how well you plan things out, no matter how good you are, no matter what you do, stuff doesn't work, and it sucks when it goes like that. It's quite easy to get defeated and want to give up on your goals and things like that. I think one of the things that I really try and do when that happens is remember that I made the choice to pursue these certain things. So with the running last week and the miler, it was my choice to sign up to miler, my choice to do other things that impacted my running last week. And I think when you start remembering that it's all your choice, you kind of can look at it and be like, okay, I can either choose differently, make a different choice, or I can just man up and get on with it. And I think once you start looking at things that way, you pretty quickly man up and get on with it. And the same thing, like even in a long run or whatever, in a race, when you think about quitting, I think when you come back to being like, okay, I made the choice to be here, now I've got the choice, I can either quit or I can keep going. I think once you really lay those choices out on the table for yourself, the right choice always seems to come through anyway. Same with eating and things like that. If you give yourself the choice of a really good meal and a really bad meal, majority of the time, the good meal will actually just be a natural choice. So yeah, giving yourself the choices and looking at them is a good way to control your whole environment, for me anyway. New flavour pre-workout. We had a mixed berry flavour at the moment. My initial taste, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I've now, after having it numerous times, I've actually probably bumped it up to an 8 out of 10. It's like a flavour that really grows on you. However, we are going to send it back. We're not sending it back, we're going to go back to food scientists and try to tweak some things. So that initial taste is a 8, and then the flavour will grow on you, so hopefully be a 10. So yeah, pretty cool having some new flavours and stuff that we're testing out. Got a couple other ones coming through, hopefully working on a few new products. However, we also need to sell more of the current products. So yeah, got to get super zoned in on selling some stuff, and yeah, keep working on these new products because we do on a pretty extensive product range to suit hybrid training. 2026 planning is, yeah, like I said, pretty crazy to think that we're already planning for 2026, which kind of ties in with the whole Everest season. Like seeing everyone on Everest at the moment is epic and gets me super G'd up. Like I am pumped to hit Everest next year. However, I've put a condition on Everest for next year, and it's subject to me finishing the miler. No time on the miler, but I think Everest is a super trying to say this in the right way. You need the absolute right mindset going into Everest, and you don't want any form of quitting. I think in the previous 12 months, so obviously pull out a miler, Everest is going to have to wait till 2027. with that said, I've got no intention of pulling out the miler. So at this point in time, Everest full steam for 2026. Let's go. But that is the condition that I've put on Everest for 2026. That the miler has to be finished. What else we got? Yeah, so 2026 as well. Gonna maybe dabble in some speed ascents. I'm just looking at how and what can do there. Big one being safety. Speed ascents often don't tie in safety, and I want to live a very long time, so got to make sure stuff's safe enough anyway. So speed ascents is a possibility for 2026. Just having a look at what's on the cards that we can do there. A Hyrox, 100% on the cards for 2026. I, in my head, think I'm going to crush Hyrox. However, it probably will humble me, so that'll be good. I'm excited either way. Whether I crush it or it humbles me, that's a good experience. So yeah, Hyrox definitely 2026, maybe even the end of 2025, we'll see what happens. A miler, definitely, maybe 2 milers for 2026. We'll see what else we can sort of jam in. A couple other cool things I won't talk about just yet, but yeah, more just wanted to bring up the fact that I'm starting to plan for 2026 and it's only April, so it's just about looking far enough forward that you can make things happen when you need to make them happen. And yeah, for the Everest season, everyone that's heading up Everest, good on ya, be safe, get it done. Yeah, keen to keep seeing all the stuff on socials for it, so yeah, good luck. It pretty much wraps up this week, bit of a shorter week. Don't want to ramble on too much. As I've said before, I'm more of a go do it kind of person than a talk about it kind of person, but we're trying to master the skill of talking about it a bit more. So yeah, that's probably it for the week. Thank you again for listening or watching, and we'll see you next week. Let's go!